All right, happy Monday once again. Hope everybody is continuing to have a good start to your week. I'll go through announcements and then I will cede the floor temporarily. Uh, so, uh, as usual, out of office this week. Just wanted to these are what I know. In spite of we have somebody who's not supposed to be working here, but I won't mention that person's name just because they're shamed already with the view out their back window. Um, uh, as a reminder, employee engagement survey, that's still open. If you haven't participated yet, please consider doing so. These are very useful and we pay attention to these results, so it's helpful. Uh, the Not that this is next one is news to anybody, but this week and next week represent the last weeks of 2020 in which we are all working. There's a lot of people starting to be out, starting with Family and Friends Day, which is a week from Friday, if you haven't booked it yet. Uh, so, uh, uh, so if you've got stuff you're working on, if you would please start trying to get that towards us to a place where you can set it down for a while, because we could really use a period we don't want to be rushing to completion at the end of next week. Otherwise we're guilty of committing what I refer to as commit and run, and then everything blows up while everybody's away. So we would like to avoid that if at all possible. um, and Taylor, you want to speak to your announcement?
Yeah, so this week is GitHub Universe. It's their annual conference. We expect them to announce all sorts of things. It starts tomorrow. Uh, all of the security content is scheduled for the 8th, which is tomorrow. So definitely look at the sessions. Feel free to take some time and watch them if you're interested. If you see something interesting in the sessions or people tweeting or Reddit or wherever else people discuss online, definitely share us. We're watching this. The marketing team has a whole lot of plans trying to distract people from announcements. We'll sort of take things as we learn them and make a game plan from there. I don't think there's anything giant that we're expecting, but certainly who knows what they have planned. So yeah, keep your eyes and ears open and let us know what you find.
Ross, you got it.
Yeah, so I updated the MR coach links to a different view of MRs that we might need to keep an eye on, and then I've been just copying and pasting those links into my stand-up, my daily stand-up, since that's what I'm working on, and it's very handy to just have those links right there. It you can call it efficiency. I might call it being lazy, but that's all. Thanks. On to you, Thomas.
Sometimes it's hard to differentiate between efficiency and laziness. I prefer efficiency. So, but anyway, sign of a good engineer. All right. All right. So I've got the next several. I'll keep going through this. All right. Let's talk retros. So one of the things we're codifying or starting in 13.7 is a change so that we're not doing it secure wide. We're actually going to do it. We're going to move it down to the individual groups. So we'll have our own retro here, our own sync session here, and then I will take that up to the sub department, and then we'll figure out what of all of our commentary goes up to the company wide document. Calling it out because we're not going to change the tooling in mid iteration on anybody else. So we're going to continue to use the 13.7 secure wide issue for commentary. We can also move it to this document if need be. It's got to be messy. We'll clean it up in 13.8. So I want to let everybody know of a change that is coming. Given holiday schedules, I'm looking to do this the first week in 2021 when we're all back. So I will have that shared in channel, and there will be also part of a document for this. We'll talk about as far as schedule in the next week's iteration of this meeting. Any questions about this? Okay, I'll keep going. Part of one of my points of emphasis for myself for this quarter is to pay a whole lot more attention to my own OKR issues. And part of that to me is bringing what I'm doing back to this group, and I'm gonna try to do regular, not weekly, but at least regular, at least monthly updates into this, so y'all know what I'm chasing. Number one, office hours last Thursday. I thought that went great, especially for a first iteration of that conversation. Thank you to everyone who showed up. It mattered, and it was appreciated. And so thank you. I think we learned a fair amount. I think we were able to show something that was coming that was needed and desired with mono repo support and Node.js scan. That was good, and I think we were able to make sure they knew that they didn't have to do what they thought they were going to have to do at the first part. So I thought that was good. And so the next one that I'm working on, you've probably noticed if you pay attention to stand-up reports like I do, that I've been talking about forking or mirroring our dependencies. Well, it's part of the OKRs. So it's time we actually subject the scanners that we depend upon to our own features, and let's see what we find. So I've only done this for a couple. I'm going to continue to roll this out piecemeal, iteratively throughout the rest of this week. Notes from me, the mirroring feature that we have for projects, I thought is quite good. If you haven't played with that yet, I thought I think it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. However, I was hoping this could be an auto DevOps kind of scanning, but it can't because of a few limitations that I've run into. The main reason that I'm having a trouble with auto DevOps is that I'm trying to scan the versions that we depend on, which are tags. And our features don't run against tags, they run against branches. And that distinction surprised me, or at least I forgot about it. And so this is causing me to do a little bit more work than expected. So Lucas, I'm jumping ahead of your questions, but did I answer it, or is there more that you want to unpack here?
No, that answers it. Thanks. I'll try and find that relevant issue and link it here.
Okay. The other thing that I ran into related to auto DevOps is that we've got some things like dependency scanning requires a lock file. And while you can build it, that build step does not occur and it is a part of ADO, or excuse me, auto DevOps. So we're going to, if we want dependency scanning and some of these things, we're going to have to either either bring in our own build plan, or we're going to have to, or we'll have to do the necessary things locally and then have it scan accordingly. So it's just not as clean. It'll get cleaned up, but as a first pass, it's interesting. And there's a couple of read-only items that are there. And so I'll be, if you want more information, I'll let you go get into those. Any questions on those items before I move on? Any more questions, rather? All right. Last week we talked about doing a virtual happy hour prior to the holiday season kicking into high gear. I'm looking at next Wednesday, relatively late if you're East Coast, late afternoon if you're on the West Coast of North America. So bring your own beverage of choice. Maybe I'm brainstorming here, maybe a gaming session, like maybe something be a tabletop simulator or something else. If something else that you guys would like to do, I would love to. Just want to play, just want to have fun. That's just kind of, and so that's what I was looking to do during this time. So Zach, I see you mentioned Fibbage, which I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, it's a Jackbox TV game, and I've done it a couple times with like Erica and some of her friends, just all on Zoom, and it worked out really well. So that's something. I don't actually have Fibbage, but I think it's like $10 or something, and it's a ton of fun. You basically just there's a bunch of, it's kind of they give you a prompt, you come up with a line, you try and trick people into choosing your line, then you get points. So it's a fun one.
All right,
it's super fun, and I actually have most of the packs if you guys want to leverage that first through Steam. So yeah, I definitely, we do it with friends and family online this year, and it's been super effective over Zoom as well.
All right. Tongue firmly planted in cheek. This game seems like it's biased towards those in sales and marketing. And maybe product management too. So I think we may. I'm kidding, but at the same time,
You're not wrong.
All right. That sounds like fun. So we'll explore that. And if people have some options that you think would be entertaining, would love to hear your thoughts, and we'll collaborate on this through the rest of the week. Okay. I'm looking at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time next Wednesday. I know that's late. If you're on the East Coast, we can iterate on that. Why 4:30? Because that is when the new APAC weekly meetings wrap, and so that's why I was looking at that time specifically. But I'm open for suggestions. The new weekly meeting schedule means that I move my work night. Since we started that APAC schedule over a year ago at this point, Mondays were my long days, and then I would taper off through the rest of the week. Well, I can work one night a week, so I'm going to move my work nights from Mondays to Wednesdays. It's going to be a tangible change.
Okay, release post items. It is that time again. I don't know how. It just keeps coming. I've got the two things here listed, the improved MR widget and artifact download, which Neil's team has been working on, and the included wider rollout of that. We've got the mono repo support. I'm going to come up with some great way to not use the word mono repo. If you have ideas, feel free to put them into the release post draft that I'll create later today. Multi-project is where my head's at this point. Yep. Are there anything else that you think is significant enough to warrant a release post? Y'all always surprise me with things. Think about it. Let me know. This release post cycle is bizarro, as there's a friends and family day and the holidays are coming up. So everything is happening on a different schedule this go around. So I think everything's a day earlier. I plan to have the draft release posts by end of day today. So I'll tag y'all on those. Feel free to comment on them. And then I'll check in probably end of the week and see how those are looking. That's it.
So I just added a last minute addition to this since I was watching Becca's category maturity scorecard video. But can we just talk briefly about how that scorecard actually affects our category maturity? For those of us not super familiar with the process, is completion of that mean it is moving forward, or is it mean it's staying where it is, or what?
So this has been a journey. Becca and I have been working on this since I think August. We've done a ton of internal interviews. We've done a few external interviews. Basically, this new CMS process, the Category Maturity Scorecard, has been evolving. And as we've been doing interviews, the process itself has been actually changing. And so we've kind of been like leapfrogging back and forth where we're at. So because we matured all of our categories to viable before all of the new scoring process happened, we didn't need to do any of this. So we're still viable. What we wanted to do is when this new CMS process with a scorecard and all of that was rolled out, if you look at the maturity page on the website, you'll notice that some of the icons are purple and some of the icons are gray. Gray indicates the old scorecard system. Purple icons mean that you've got a scorecard with a score. We now have a scorecard with a score for both secret detection and SAST. There's an MR out to update those icons to turn them purple. I know this sounds really silly because it kind of is, We basically, what Becca and I wanted to do was get ahead of the process of getting to complete, see where we were at in the scorecard with our actual number score to see how good or how bad it was, and then reconcile any of our to complete plans. Surprise, the scores came back really good. In many cases, we're already considered complete score-wise. Now, I will say that those scores are internal folks only, which the new category maturity scorecard process for viable only requires internal reviews. For complete, we'll do external reviews, which we've already queued a few of those up. So we'll run that same process again with external customers once we've finished a few more things in our to complete, and we expect that we will get scores just as good that will justify us to move to complete. So that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes. Frankly, today, based on the scores, we could probably go ahead and mature to complete, but I think you all know and probably feel the same that we're not quite there yet. There are still some things that we need to go and do, which we've already got planned and should be no surprise at this point. If you were to ask me now when we'll go to complete, I think it'll be March or April, a little bit early from our mid 2021 goal of being to complete. So that's kind of where we're at with the category maturity scorecard. Any questions?
Not for me, but that was super helpful. Thank you.
How frequently do we plan to revisit these scorecards?
It's a good question. In general, you're supposed to do the scorecard when you're looking to maturity. I think this is more of a sort of ongoing thing because it's tied in with our jobs to be done, which have all been redesigned. There's now the UX team is working on aligning all of the jobs to be done across the different categories so that they're standardized. That we were sort of ahead of, and we kind of helped largely shape what those look like. So our category maturity scorecard was based on those new jobs to be done. And basically what Becca and I are going to do moving forward is, as we happen to talk to customers for whatever reason, we'll likely run them through some of those scenarios as sort of a touch point, especially when we're releasing features and functionality that we expect to improve the score for a particular job to be done. And then when we get closer to April or March, we'll actually sit down, we'll do 2 or 3 actual customer interviews end to end with the entire scorecard to get scores back. Any other questions on this one? Cool.
All right. I'm going to roll on to demos. See, there's a couple that are listed here that look like we're going to be talking about videos, which is fine. So Ross, you got the first one.
Yeah, we can definitely consider mine read-only, but there's a neat vet proof of concept video that I've linked there. Encourage you to take a look at it. It's short, which is nice.
Zach, would you like to talk about Git leaks?
Sure. And Ross, I bet my video is shorter. It's I think 24 seconds or something. But I can also demo this too. Anyway, last week I updated Git leaks to version 7. It was kind of a project I did during some of my time off and over Thanksgiving. And it was pretty much a rewrite of Git leaks. The only things that stayed the same were the configuration and the options. Those structures stayed the same, but the actual scanning, the way that the code was organized, that was kind of all ripped apart. And it's cleaner, easier for me to maintain. So if you're curious about how the code looks now, I encourage you to take a look. But there are some cool new features that I demo in the video, and I can also show. So let me share my screen. Okay, sharing that. Okay, so I guess the first one I'll show is there's a, well, let's do git leaks. Oh, see the options. So I added and I changed some options, but one of the new options is no git. So you can now run git leaks on any file you want or any directory. So I'm hoping maybe someone might make a plugin for Vim or IDE because it's quick, you know, and you can just run git leaks on a, like I said, specific file or directory. So for example, I'm in the test secrets directory, and if we want to run git leaks on that, I have that here. So it found the leaks, and this is treating the secrets repo as just a directory. So it ignores the .git file that is part of repos. So that's that feature. Another thing that I added, another feature, is the leak URL field in the report. And so if we run git leaks on the actual like remote of test secrets, so let's do that. We'll see that this leak URL is populated, and if we just go to that link, we'll see, oh, here's the key, and you know, boom, like here's this is where the leak is. So it takes you to the correct commit and the correct line. And so this is something I've wanted for a while, and this is something I'm hoping that we can introduce into our secrets analyzer when you're on the security dashboard and you look at a vulnerability. You want to be able to just click a link and go directly to where the leak is, rather than having to open up a commit and search the file for that line. So this is just one step closer. You know, it's now natively part of GitLeaks. So this is like my new favorite feature for sure, because it's just so easy. So yeah, that's those are kind of the new things that I wanted to show off.
I'll say what I wrote. The release post for GitLeaks v7 is in the running for the most entertaining I've seen. And so it's well done.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, the another thing too, before, so prior to GitLeaks 7, I was kind of half supporting GitLab and GitHub integrations, which it was just really hard to maintain, and that felt like kind of a half-baked feature creep. So those are removed. So you know, my goal for GitLeaks is just to be the quickest, most configurable Git tool for searching repos. And if you want to integrate with GitHub or GitLab, by all means, write a script around it. You know, it's just something that I don't have time to support. So I removed it.
If only you had a venue to integrate with GitLab.
I mean,
what you demoed today, like, definitely will get that scheduled in. I think it's a great feature.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, we have a couple of minutes left. Anything else folks want to talk about? Okay. Au revoir, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, rest of Sound of Music. See you later.